AC40 rookies, with the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team riders out following them. The Mini GP 50s will then have the Extreme 200s after them. Then the Mini F1 sidecars will use the slightly shortened version of the Red Lodge circuit, and then the Mini GP 70s will bring us to an end to today's action. That was due to be around 5:15, and we've had some great work by the medics and the marshal teams and the organisers, and as ever a really big thank you to all of them for waiting and working in such warm conditions. It is very difficult for everyone out there, and as ever they've been doing a fantastic job. So not too long until the next LC40 Elite race, which will be race 1 for them of the weekend. So far it definitely has been that journey of the top 2 and then sort of everyone else. But nonetheless, Kiko, it has been a fantastic year all around for them.
Junior LC40 Elites, we've seen some thrilling racing in this. We have had all of the battles that we have seen. Casey Gorman has been not as dominant as he has been in the GP50s and 70s. He really has been something a little bit special in those classes. He is on the brink of a championship lead, though. I must tell you, 5 points in between himself and Bailey Stewart Campbell. If you look to podiums in this LC40 Elites class, Bailey Stewart Campbell has been on the podium in every single race so far, 12 from 12. Casey Gorman is 10th. Emmanuel Brinton 7th. Ollie Walker with 7 podiums. Ollie Walker with 3. Ryan Hitchcock with 1, Sullivan Mounsey with 2, and James Cook with a sole podium as well. There are 7 podium finishes in this class so far. Some notable names really, not quite on that list. Evan Belford's one of them in the LC40 Elite. He hasn't had a podium in the class yet. And
which does surprise you a bit when you hear that.
And Josh Bannister's another one, LC40 Elite, although I'm sure he's had a very, very good result indeed. But never mind, we're away and running for the warm-up lap of this race.
Casey O'Gorman starts on pole position ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell, James Cook and Ryan Hitchcock the second row, with Evan Belford and Josh Bannister are on row 3, as they've been given an extra warm-up lap just to get set into the championship, into the rhythm really for this race meeting. Been a topsy-turvy day for weather conditions and the riders. I think a few of them have gone out on slicks for the first time today, which is why they are having their second warm-up lap.
I'm not sure why they are having their second warm-up lap. It's been dry more or less the whole time. We have had a little bit of a delay here just coming through. Maybe it's got a bit windy out there, of course. These bikes are only light. The wind will no doubt have an effect on that, but hopefully this race will go ahead and all riders will get round safely. They're coming to the grid now. As you said, Dan, Casey Gorman on pole, his 3rd pole of the year. Bailey Stewart Campbell front row of the grid 2 in 2nd place.
And as everyone now getting into their final starting positions, 9 laps are in prospect. Emmanuel Brinton will take the start. He didn't start in the first race today, which was a bit of a surprise for us, but he's ready and waiting for this race. The first of the junior LC40 Elites. Casey O'Gorman takes up his pole position, which is a very regular thing for our regular listeners to know. And we are live on Facebook, on the motorsport.radio, on the Cool Fab Racing websites and social media pages. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you're happily sat at home with a cup of tea, maybe trackside in your van where it might be a bit cooler, or wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. Please do keep commenting and sharing all of your links. We're about to get ready for the race start. Casey O'Gorman makes it away from pole position very happily into the race lead. It is going to be the challenge for 2nd and 3rd place though, as they go into turn 2. The second left-hander for the first time out of 9, through the left and through the right. It's a very difficult section for everyone to get through cleanly, but somehow they managed to all get through. So far, Casey O'Gorman in the lead of this race. 2nd place and 3rd place also a little bit of a gap. 4th place though, it's an absolute queue as everyone desperate to make up positions on this opening lap, Kiko.
Queso Gorman leads. We knew that was going to come, really. He's always got a good start in him, Queso Gorman, and he's away and running at the moment, undisturbed at the front, and that is when he's at his absolute best. Queso Gorman will stream away if anything in the first 4 rounds is to go by. Second place at the moment for Bailey Stewart Campbell. He's just got to settle down into a rhythm as those two come across the line. Fast and furious stuff already after lap 1.
Over the line, and Queso Gorman leads by 9/10 of a second from Bailey Stewart Campbell. James Cook, the 144, challenging in third for second place so far. Fourth is Ryan Hitchcock ahead of Evan Belford. Josh Bannister making progress ahead of Troy Jeffrey, with Emmanuel Brinson in 8th, Ollie Walker 9th, Johnny Garness and Mason Foster both ahead of Sullivan Mounsey in 10th, 11th and 12th. But so far, the battle for second place is the one that's closing in. 99 of Bailey Stewart Campbell holding off James Cook. For how much longer? Well, it's certainly going to be a challenge coming into the right and then the left-hander, the final left-handed corner, where you can get such a good run coming out of it. And not quite on this lap for James Cook. Started to close in though, and Emmanuel Brinton in 8th place. An unusual thing we tend to say, but there's got a good line of bikes behind him, including Ollie Walker, Johnny Garness and Mason Foster, and now Sullivan Mounsey included in that.
1.5 seconds the gap between first and second. Incredible to think we've only had 1 lap or 2 full laps. Queso Gorman just making it look so easy at the moment out front. The number 7 leading Bailey Stewart Campbell, the number 99. Then the 144 of James Cook in 3rd. Ryan Hitchcock not a million miles away in 4th. Evan Belford just behind in 5th. Side by side for second place, Bailey Stewart Campbell just about holding on to that from James Cook. Queso Gorman across the line. The class act continues into the second half of this season. At the moment, those two would be level on points. Would you believe it? Queso Gorman and Bailey Stewart Campbell level on points, both with them going into tomorrow's races with just as much chance as leaving the round on top.
And nonetheless, Queso Gorman in second place in the championship, first in the race, first now in the championship due to the extra amount of wins that he has had. James Cook in 3rd for the time being, but still looking very feisty between Bailey Stewart Campbell and James Rose. Undoubtedly wants an extra place on the podium. Bailey, though, needs the points quite urgently. Over the line they come to finish lap number 4 onto lap 5. 5 laps left to go. And Queso Gorman 2.6 seconds ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell and James Cook. Ryan Hitchcock 4th. Evan Belford is in 5th ahead of Troy Jeffrey and Josh Bannister. Emmanuel Brinton has broken away in 8th. 9th place now, Ollie Walker heading up a field of Johnny Garness, Sullivan Mounsey and Mason Foster. The leaders though going onto the back straights here at Red Lodge. A very long run before the double apex left-handers and the hairpin.
I wonder what it is with East Anglian circuits and long back straights. Snetterton's got quite a long back straight as well, just whilst we fill some time. But Queso Gorman leading this one rather comfortably now with what will be 4 laps to go on the LC40 Elite race. Across the line and goes. His lap time, what is it, 47.7. That is a very good lap time, 0.6 quicker than anyone else. He is flying off of this one. Queso Gorman comfortably in the lead. Bailey Stewart Campbell has got some, well, interference coming his way shortly with James Cook. James Cook right on the rear end of Bailey Stewart Campbell. The current championship leader. Wouldn't be for much longer if Queso Gorman was to win this race.
Troy Jeffrey fighting very hard for 6th place at the moment. He's got to defend quite aggressively from Josh Bannister. A real racer is Josh. Absolutely loves going for those late moves. Onto the back straight, he's using the toe to try and close in to the first part of the hairpin at the far end of the circuit, through the left and then the left-handed hairpin. Such a difficult run to get the optimal line through. To make a pass, you can make it, but you can't quite fix it.
Sullivan Mounsey's just gone up into 9th place. Sullivan Mounsey's just gone up into 8th place. Gets out of Emmanuel Brinton. So Ollie Walker and Emmanuel Brinton disposed of in a couple of corners. Sullivan Mounsey finding some late race pace and coming good. He's into 8th place now. Queso Gorman still leading Bailey Stewart Campbell and James Cook at the front.
And Sullivan Mounsey, a brilliant run now ahead of Ollie Walker and Emmanuel Brinton. Used the run from the right-handed part of the complex in the later stages of the race. Got a great run, took not 1 but 2 positions. Really showing what a great rider that Sullivan is. And we don't often talk about Sullivan being in 8th place. He often has some really good runs towards the front as well, but it shows, and it really explains even how difficult sometimes a little bit further down the order in terms of qualifying, and then it can really flip thing on its head. One thing that hasn't been flipped is Casey O'Gorman and his order. He's still in the lead of the race, 4 seconds now ahead, 4.2 seconds ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell. James Cook is 4 tenths behind Bailey now, so that gap just enough really to take the pressure off at this time. But Troy Jeffrey has got all that pressure that's been lost because Josh Bannister closing in significantly. Now they're being chased by Emmanuel Brinton and Sullivan Mounsey. That gap, that gaggle starting to close in once again. It was a 2-bike battle. Now, before long, and Sullivan Mounsey has gone down on a low side, back up, trying to get back onto the bike, underway, slight push on the Marshall just to get the bike to restart and underway. A shame there for Sullivan.
He was just saying how much of a good race he was having. He was just closed in on that 6th place battle. Troy Jeffrey and Josh Bannister. Sullivan Mounsey back up and okay.
The last lap flag has gone out. Casey O'Gorman not long until the end of his race, and Bailey Stewart Campbell and James Cook, the battle for second having more or less been set, but Sullivan Mounsey drops down into 12th place, and so far could even go into 13th place, so remains in 13th place. So as he heads back into the pit lane now, so that's the end of his race. Unfortunate there for Sullivan, and hopefully get another good run from Sullivan very shortly indeed. But it's not long till the end of this race. Rounding the final couple of corners is Casey O'Gorman, and is going to take yet another victory on the bounce. He's taken 6 now from the last 7 races, which is a fantastic run for Casey, and puts him into joint leadership really with the championship now, ahead of Bailey Stewart Campbell, who's came home in 2nd place, ahead of James Cook, with Ryan Hitchcock and Evan Belford. Someone's pulled, in fact Bailey Stewart Campbell looks like he's pulled to the side of the road on the exit of turn number 2,
and on the exit of turn 6 there's an issue as well. I think a rider's gone down, rider up and okay,
but nonetheless took the line when he needed it, and that's really given him a gift horse. 2 warm-up laps, so maybe they fueled it for those 2 laps, but not quite enough for a 3rd lap, which they weren't anticipating. They get the bike underway though, so we'll continue round the circuit, and Casey O'Gorman takes another victory in the Junior LC40 Elite. Casey O'Gorman and Bailey Stewart Campbell in 1st and 2nd. James Cook 3rd, rounding out the podium, and a good result for James, with Evan Belford in 5th, behind Ryan Hitchcock, who had a good run in 4th, including his runs last time out. So Evan Belford in 5th, ahead of Troy Jeffrey, with Josh Bannister, Emmanuel Brinton and Johnny Garness the top 9, with Mason Foster followed home by Ollie Walker and Taylor Stewart Campbell, Luca Hopkins, Harrison McKay, and then Jamie Woodcock rounding out the podium, or rounding out the 15 runners to take the points. Joe Farragher only just to the tune, well, he was in 16th place. Harrison McKay pipping Jamie Woodcock by a mere 59 thousandths of a second. Very close stuff indeed in the first Junior LC40 Elite race of the weekend. Thank you very much for tuning in on the Cool Fab Racing website, on Facebook, on your social media platform of choice, and on motorsport.radio. You're listening to live coverage of round 5, the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championships.
This is Cool Fab Racing. Live coverage all season on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page and on the website coolfabracing.com. Original and best British championships for mini bikes. This is Cool Fab Racing.
The Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championships, the official partner series to the BSB and on the road to MotoGP. Had some great racing so far this afternoon, but there is plenty more still to come, including this next session. The AC40 rookies are heading to the grid for their race start. We have 20 of them entered this weekend, including Ollie Horner, who starts on a pole position ahead of Samuel Munson, with Ruben Bray and Henry McCartney on row 2. Row 3 is Finn and Werity and Ollie Sims, with Archie Gibbs, Blake Wilson, Warwick Brady and Charlie Huntingford rounding out the top 10. Max Werity and Jacob Stevenson following them on the top 6 rows at the moment. Henry McCartney leads the championship by just 3 points from Samuel Munson. McCartney in 4th, Munson in 2nd. So the championship is well and truly hotting up in this second half of the 2018 championship. Everyone is getting ready for the race start. We've got a good slew of new names to the championship, which we'll get to in due course. But as we are ready with the race start, the flag and the marshals moving now away from the sides of the circuit. A big gust of wind starting to break out now, but everyone moving away, ready for the race start. Looking up towards the red lights, which will get us underway for this race. The revs are up and a good start from Ollie Horner from pole position is just about going to secure him second place. A great start though from Henry McCartney, getting stuck into the front of the field, and Samuel Munson, who was in second place, drops down to 3rd at the moment. Everyone getting through the first couple of corners for the first time out of 8 cleanly. Ollie Horner though did exactly what he needed to stay into the lead of this race. Further down the order, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, well, that pretty much all changed at the start.
Ollie Horner getting a great start, looking for his first win this year. Of course, Ollie Horner not yet on the top step of the podium, but hopefully today or tomorrow, this meeting, he will be able to join a list of names that have already hit the top spot in this class. He's leading down through the long right-hander that ends this lap into the left. Now that rounds it all off to the line, Ollie Horner is leading. Looks like to me it is Ruben Bray in 2nd. Yes, it is. 3rd is Henry McCartney. 4th is Samuel Munson, who's dropped down from that 2nd place start. That front row advantage he gained. Finn and Werity 5th. 6th is Warwick Brady.
And already breaking away is Ollie Horner. Ruben Bray battling not Henry McCartney but also Samuel Munson. The 2 championship protagonists so far, they're still also involved in this battle for the championship. Ollie Horner 20 points behind Samuel Munson, 23 behind Henry McCartney, and this would go some way, provisionally of course, there's still a very long way in this race left to go, to close up the battle for the championship, with Samuel Munson 3 points behind Henry McCartney as mentioned. Ruben Bray 24 points behind Samuel Munson, the championship leader so far. But over the line, Ollie Horner got a clean break from Ruben Bray, with Henry McCartney starting to close in with Samuel Munson in 3rd and 4th respectively. Finn and Werity doing well so far in 5th place, with Warwick Brady just coming home ahead of Ollie Sims, now up to 7th, having passed Charlie Huntingford, with Blake Wilson and Max Werity the top 10, Elliot Jones and William Harris the top 12, with Jacob Stevenson 13th. Felix Dorlin, a new name, ahead of the other new names of Luke Fitchett and Marco Holt, 15th and 16th. Archie Gibbs in 17th, ahead of Charlie Cunningham, who's in fact actually ahead in 17th, gone him just over the line, with Archie Gibbs, Izzy Carter and Luke Hutchinson, the 20-strong field so far. Up towards the line though for the 3rd time out of 8 already, through the right and the left. Someone pulls into the pit lane. We'll get confirmation of who in a moment, but it's a good run from McCartney from the left-hander up towards turns 1 and 2. The double apex left-hander, they're going to be nearly flat through turn number 1. Real commitment by these young racers. And 2nd, 3rd, 4th, still Bray, McCartney, Munson. Munson, though, getting a great run out of 2 and 3. Every time they go through, there's a difference. There's a yellow flag just for someone who's pulled off to the side. The left-hander at turn number 6. They're just getting back on the bike and a push on the marshal, so all good for them. They get and rejoin the race.
Ollie Horner doing something very similar to Jorge Lorenzo. He just managed to blast off at the front. He's not being reeled in at all, setting a great pace, consistently faster, 3/10 faster that time round than Henry McCartney. Ollie Horner's having a great meeting so far. Really is looking the part. The light blue bike in the lead, the number 70. Ollie Horner leads this race. To the line he comes. Let's have a look at his lap time. There's a 53.362. And he again is 6/10 quicker than anyone else out on circuit. It is looking like an Ollie Horner win with 4 to go.
Halfway through this race, Ollie Horner with the fastest lap of 53.3. You mentioned that 2.596 gap is certainly not one that Henry McCartney's got, because he's just managed to get through into 3rd place. Munson, in fact, getting past. So
Munson had made the move of the hairpin. Munson had made the move of the hairpin, and McCartney had got him back when Munson ran wide on the exit of the hairpin. So a little bit of battling there, but Samuel Munson will be looking to try and dispose of Henry McCartney. Of course, Munson with the nickname Munson Burner. For anyone who is a scientist out there, can someone explain to me what that means?
You don't know what a Bunsen burner is?
My science education was limited.
I mean, I should get this right, seeing as I do lots of other things in the scientific world, but what's not scientific is the battle for 2nd place. This is raw racing as they make their way through turn 1 and 2. Just getting past a couple of riders in this session as well. Bray still 2nd. 3rd place is still being decided by Samuel Munson with a very late move up the inside from the left to the right. Left it as late as he dared on the right hand side, got it through and into 3rd place so far. Henry McCartney down to 4th. Ruben Bray probably having a little chuckle as he's gapped it just a bit now in 2nd place.
Ruben Bray in that 2nd place. He was your early championship leader. He is only 24 points back in the championship so far. Ollie Horner 3rd. He's only 23 points back. This win for Ollie Horner really is going to close things mega close. The lads in 3rd and 4th are 1st and 2nd out on circuit at the moment. This championship is starting to really close together now in this 2nd half of the season. Samuel Munson still 3rd. 4th place is Henry McCartney. Finn and Werrity is still 5th. I feel like we've hardly spoken about anyone outside the top 4 so far in this race. 6th place Ollie Sims. 7th Warwick Brady, your winner from Clay Pigeon. Charlie Huntingford is 8th. 9th is Blake Wilson. Max Werrity is in 10th. Elliot Jones 11th. But we are on the penultimate lap at the moment. Ollie Horner has got this lead more or less sorted.
Frenetic speed in this first AC40 rookies race of the weekend. Ollie Horner doing brilliantly. Also a great battle between Charlie Huntingford in 7th. It was a great battle over the line between Wilson, Werrity and Jones. In fact, with the 76 of Charlie Huntingford also getting through. Up towards the line now, though, to start the last lap is our race leader, Ollie Horner. Over the line comes the battle, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It's still Bray, Munson and McCartney. It had for too much longer, does one feel. It's going to change very quickly indeed. Through 2 and 3. Left and then right, making their way before the right and the left once again. They've got someone else just to make their way past, getting very close. In 2nd place, they did manage just to get through cleanly. Ollie Horner, a clean break is what he ordered, a clean break is what he's got, and with half a lap left to go, you suspect on course for a victory on board the number 17 machine. 2nd place, though, still yet to be decided. Bray just keeping hold of it as they make their way side by side now. And in fact, a change of position. Munson getting very close. The race leader coming towards the line to take the checkered flag once again. 2nd place is going to be a run to the line now. The checkered flag for Ollie Horner as he wins the first race of the weekend. 2nd place, though, only just going to be decided over the line, and it is just Ruben Bray ahead of Samuel Munson and Henry McCartney. Over the line, they were separated by just 0.4 of a second. Line astern. Very close stuff indeed for the top 4. Finn and Werrity has just taken the checkered flag in 5th place. It feels like an awfully long time, but still a great result there for Finnan as well aboard the 112. Charlie Huntingford will take the 6th place, but someone stopped the 108. Looks the number on the side of the bike. That's Blake Wilson in 8th place, who hasn't actually crossed the line yet. They've got a couple of riders making their way. The marshal's giving him an ultra push, but he's going to be beaten by 1 or 2. Unfortunately, 1 or 2 having passed him on the way to the checkered flag. The bike just conked out on the left-hand side after the final corner. Really big shame there for Blake. So it's Warwick Brady in 7th behind Charlie Huntingford, with Ollie Sims and Max Werrity 8th and 9th. Elliot Jones, then Blake Wilson, who just crossed the line, with William Harris 12th ahead of Felix Dorlin, the first of our new riders this weekend. Jacob Stevenson is a regular and in 14th ahead of Luke Fitchett, with Marco Holt in 16th, with Charlie Cunningham in 17th ahead of Izzy Carter and Archie Gibbs. Unfortunately, Luke Hutchinson couldn't make the start, so we had 20 entered, 19 taking the line. But a great result nonetheless for Ollie Horner, and Ruben Bray really flipped the order of the championship up. The person in third in the championship in fourth, Samuel Munson in third, in second in the championship now third, and then Bray and then Horner. So all of the points going to get mixed up once again, and we have 2 more of these this weekend to enjoy. Round 5 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Minibike Championships, live from Red Lodge in Cambridgeshire.
This is the Cool Fab Racing British Minibikes Championship, the official partner series to the BSB.
After that fantastic battle from the AC40 rookies, phenomenal for second place. It's going to be a battle for just a bit more in this one. The Pit Bike 140s and Moto teams head out onto the grid for the first race of the weekend, and 2 categories intertwined into one. You almost thought for a second that they were going to be almost side by side. Harvey Claridge on pole position ahead of Will Howarth. Harvey Claridge on a Pit Bike 140 and Will Howarth on a Moto team bike. The next Moto team bike then doesn't appear until position number 17, with Darren Anderson aboard. The rest, including Ashley Midwood, Jamie King and Max Cook, in the top 5 ahead of James Blackburn and James Concannon, with Rhys Garland, John Ansell and Simon Clowes, the top 10.
Sam Clowes in the top 10.
Simon Clowes.
Simon Clowes.
Simon Clowes is in the...
But the third Moto team.
Is in 23rd in the third Moto team. In fact, I do apologise there. Slight mirage appearing on my screen.
We always seem to be having problems with the Clowes family.
Problems is probably the wrong word.
We called them brothers, we called them everything.
We say we mean you mostly.
I did. Next we'll be calling them sisters.
Anyway, what is definite is that the Pit Bike 140 and Moto teammates is about to get underway. The marshals have moved from the side of the grid. We can wait very patiently. The riders out there, maybe not in the heat, and we're just getting everyone ready. It's such a large entry for this weekend as ever. It gives a bit more difficulty to get everyone into the right place at the right time. Still a very long hold on the grid before we can get underway.
It's Simon Clowes having problems with his grid position. That happened last time, I'm fairly sure.
Is it Simon Clowes having issues?
Yeah. He's just finished moving about.
Well, we've been given the all clear at the back now anyway, so everyone looks towards the lights. Will Howarth in second, but it is Harvey Claridge on pole position. A bad start though for Will Howarth. Ashley Midwood did sort of come up indeed from the line very quickly indeed. Luckily no one got involved with Will Howarth, who struggled over the line into turns 3 and 4 already. So far everyone just about getting through cleanly, but it's such a large order it can take a long time for everyone to filter out. Nonetheless though, Will Howarth struggled off the start there. Definitely a big shame for Will, but hopefully gets a bit closer to his Moto team compatriots over the course of the race. 14 laps, and so far Harvey Claridge is the one who's leading the order, but only just
Harvey Claridge leading. I think that's Jay King who's got into second, or is it third? Third place for Jamie King at the moment. No, everyone just breezing through. Terrible start for Will Howarth. What happened there? We do not know. I'm sure he'll pick his way through the pack though. Rossi Banham puts a big move on the inside of someone at turn one. That's fast left-hander, that's scary left-hander really. For a first turn, there's better turns in the world to be having. All the way through they go then at the hairpin, now out of the hairpin, down the back straight they go. Everyone just filtering through. Sam Clowes getting racy there in the middle of the pack. He's trying to go with Rossi Banham. Those two are side by side more or less all of the time. Sam Clowes has just made a move that looks like he may have got Ian Jackson, so that's for the top 10 positions.
So far, Harvey Claridge just ahead of Ashley Midwood, who has got Jamie King well and truly involved in there. Dropped back a little bit actually, so Ashley Midwood is having Max Cook, the pressure of Max Cook, not just behind him but now ahead of him into second place. Max Cook, now he's been released, and now one of the British Talent Cup riders released up towards Harvey Claridge, so they're going to have a battle they're used to over a few more weekends every single year. Claridge then ahead of Cook with Ashley Midwood in third. James Blackburn now up into fourth.
He's just made a mistake. James Blackburn's just made a mistake, gone wide, ran wide. Jamie King got him back at the hairpin. Bit of a moment going in, so James Blackburn loses a place. Jamie King now up into fourth place. He's the king of that battle.
Very good, Kiko, very good indeed. For more of that, you can send us a tweet at M Sport Radio. Give us your pun names for moves at the moment. Still all changed. Jamie King getting well and truly involved with some fantastic scrapes so far. Over the line, there you go. In fourth place ahead of James Blackburn. Will Howarth getting involved and past Rhys Garland in 17th. And so far, Harvey Claridge with the fastest ever, 47.126, 1.9 seconds ahead of Max Cook and Ashley Midwood.
Will Howarth, we said he bridged the gap. He has bridged the gap. He is now in that battle for sixth position. He is right there with them. He's looking to get past one of the riders. Looks like he's just gone past James Blackburn. So Will Howarth breaks into the top 5 now. May have been Jamie King. He's definitely in the top 5 either way. So Jamie King being pushed back by the looks of things, and moving forward, Will Howarth.
Starting to catch up though, and as they come over the line, the battle between Harvey Claridge and Max Cook has increased only slightly, only by about a tenth and a half, which is not much but just enough to take that little bit of pressure off. And Max Cook always pushing as hard as he can, enjoys a great scrap in the Pit by 140 and Moto Team races. James Blackburn and Will Howarth now ahead of Jamie King, so Jamie King now down to 7th with Rhys Garland, James Concannon, Rossi Banham and Ian Jackson, the top 10 now.
Will Howarth has just gone through, passing James Blackburn, and neck and neck round the long left-hander at the end of the back straight, but Will Howarth has made the move stick. Fantastic stuff. So Will Howarth up into fourth place. Ashley Midwood is the next on his hit list.
Well, the 129 had pulled off to the right-hand side of the circuit on the final corner. Got him restarted now and just being lapped, so is not too bad. Has gone on the way, so not a problem indeed. Yellow flags now back in. We have got 5 laps completed, on to lap 6, 9 laps left to go in this race, and the gap between Claridge and Cook still extending. It's still Claridge and Cook first and second. Ashley Midwood has got about a second and a half now ahead of Will Howarth, but Will Howarth was a second faster than Ashley on that last lap. So the number 40 in third place before too long is going to be challenged by our leading Moto Team rider.
Harvey Claridge still leading, Max Cook second, Ashley Wood, Will Howarth and James Blackburn. Further down the field though, interesting battle with Rossi Banham. He is surrounding himself with Ian Jackson and Sam Clowes at the around the end of the top 10 mark. Sam Clowes looks like he's got Blake Ansell all over the back of him, as well as Felix Hearn, but at the moment the gap at the front, 2.5 seconds. Harvey Claridge and Max Cook not being able to get to that gap down at the moment. Of course, we have 8 laps to go, plenty enough time for something to go wrong.
2.5 seconds is the gap between our two race leaders. The gap now half a second between Midwood and Howarth for third place through the infield section of the circuit for the riders, and they are giving it their all, making their way up towards the hairpin, the left-handed hairpin at the far end of the circuit, and now through has gone Will Howarth, now up into third place through the final couple of corners into the left-hander, the final left-hander, made the position stick on the inside line, defended it very nicely indeed. So now into third place is going Will Howarth. 5.5 seconds behind Max Cook, who's now started to close in on Harvey Claridge. There's now a second and a half between Claridge and Cook for the race lead. Down in Moto Team, Darren Anderson is still second in class in 17th, with Henry Meduse in 18th, separating Simon Clowes, Jason Pugh and Fraser Kinnaird, the lower reaches of the teens and 20th onwards position.
Rossi Bannon 9th place, still chasing down James Kincannon, although the gap has gone up significantly now. We're looking now downfield. Simon Clowes looks like he may have got Darren Anderson. I don't know if that's been a mistake for Darren Anderson, but it looks like Simon Clowes has got past him. That is the battle for 17th on track, but it is overall in that class the battle for second. Will Howarth is now third as well. We should point out Will Howarth third, and really starting to break away from James Blackburn and Ashley Midwood, setting off after Max Cook, although I don't think he's going to get there. Looks like the front three may well just stay as they are.
Well, just a lap ago, Ashley Midwood was in fourth place. James Blackwood having gotten past Jamie King a second and a half behind Ashley Midwood, but lapping almost 7 tenths of a second quicker, so it's going to close in with no doubt in the next couple of laps. 5 laps left to go. Lap 9 completed for Harvey Claridge and Max Cook. 1.1 now is the gap between Claridge and Cook, who can really start to smell the top step of the podium, as we have got a yellow flag on the side of turn number 5. Rider is up and on the bike, just waiting to get it restarted. Will Howarth still third, has got a decent gap now on James Blackwood. In return, Ashley Midwood starting to follow.
Max Cook is closing down the leader, Harvey Claridge. The gap was 1.1. I can tell you it definitely isn't 1.1 now. It's much, much closer as they come through down into the last corner now. Harvey Claridge leading this race was by 1.1. It is now by, I'm going to go for 0.4. When it clicks over, we will see. But Harvey Claridge has got company now with Max Cook.
And we've got a rider who's gone down at turn number 3.
Fraser Kinnaird has dropped it on the exit of turn 2.
Back up on the bike and getting underway once again. But the race leaders are side by side, getting very close through the traffic. Harvey Claridge just about holding on to the race lead. Max Cook in the tow, going to look one way than the other into the left-hander. Is closing in on the braking just a bit later, just a bit longer. Can really use the traction afforded through the left and then the right-handed hairpins back to back. Just a short run around, quite a long right-hander, and then the left-hander. The final corner, turn number 10. That will bookend the lap, but Max Cook on the coattails of Harvey Claridge. Over the line they go once again, and as it goes into turns 2 and 3, still Claridge versus Cook. 4 tenths of a second over the line, much less so as they make their way through the riders in the race. So big order, they've got to really work their way through. Harvey Claridge made a move on one of the riders in the Moto Team category. Max Cook could not follow, dropping him just a couple of machine lengths down. That's just enough to give him a bit of breathing space. 3.5 laps left to go. However, Harvey Claridge has got to focus because he's still got Max Cook behind him.
Big battle for 10th place with 3 laps to go. Blake Ansell and Sam Clowes are going head to head. They are currently in that battle for 10th place, keeping it neat and tidy so far. How much longer we don't know. As they come to the line, then it is Harvey Claridge who leads this race still from Max Cook. Max Cook with the fastest lap a couple of laps ago, 46.7, but this time around Harvey Claridge took 3 tenths out of Max Cook. They're back together again, out to the hairpin. Short burst to turn 6, the fast left-hander that swings them onto the back straight all the way down. Max Cook will be looking for a bit of slipstream if he can. Through the long left, this is where Max Cook builds through these long corners. At the hairpin now, going to flick right. Max Cook building and building. Tight right-hander, back markers ahead of him. 2 laps to go, soon to be 1 lap to go. Harvey Claridge has almost done everything right. Will he hold on? I don't think he's going to have too much issues, but it's to how many passes will there be. Max Cook is right on his case. They're at the traffic now at turn 2. Max Cook looking on the inside. He's got him. Max Cook has got through. He has gone ahead of Harvey Claridge as they went through turn 2. Harvey Claridge has been caught asleep as far as back markers are concerned. Max Cook ruthlessly steeds his way through, and that looks to me like a race win as the battle that is down for 8th place. James Concannon just holding on ahead of Rossi Banham, but at the moment Max Cook in the lead. The British Talent Cup star is doing it here at Cool Fab 2.
And unfortunately for Harvey Claridge, Max Cook just read the traffic so much better, opted to go right instead of left. That secured him the victory, which he is about to take. The checkered flag is waved. He comes over the line, and Harvey Claridge demoted to second on the final lap with Max Cook, your race winner, aboard the number 30. Harvey Claridge in second place. Third place for Will Howard. He's not mentioned him in such a long time. Still making his way through the final couple of corners. 11.2 seconds behind this battle for the lead. And James Blackburn then in fourth place. Ashley Midwood did stay in 5th place. Jamie King just 0.2 of a second, or 0.3 of a second over the line behind Ashley. Another lap he would have had him. I'm sure Jamie always fighting very hard in the Cool Fab Championships. Rhys Garland, James Concannon, Blake Ansell, and then Rossi Banham, your top 10, with Sam Clowes in 11th place, Ian Jackson, Felix Hearn and Liam Fairbrother up to the top 14, with Brandon Perrell in 15th. Darren Anderson takes 2nd place in Moto Team ahead of Simon Clowes and Jason Pugh. That's your top 19, or top 18, with JJ Cunningham, Ben Pascoe and Fraser Kinnaird, then followed home by Alistair Kinnaird in 21st and 22nd. 14 laps of nothing but pure adrenaline action here from round 5 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Minibike Championships, the official partner series to the BSB, on the road to MotoGP. And in the end, one of our stars from the British Talent Cup, Max Cook, took the victory in race 1 of the weekend.
This is Cool Fab Racing. Live coverage all season on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page and on the website coolfabracing.com.
And after that Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team race, we move very quickly onto the Mini GP 50s, onto their formation lap, getting everything in place ready for their race start. 16 are due to start this race. How will the order happen? Well, it's Kiko Giles with the grid.
Casey O'Gorman on pole position yet again in this class. James Cook second, Manuel Brinton third, Josh Bannister fourth, fifth Eddie O'Shea, Thomas Gomez is sixth, Kyle Payne seventh, Oddie Walker in eighth, Dylan Mellor 9th, and Harrison Crosby completing the top 10. James Rose 11th, Lucas Brown in 12th, Ryan Hitchcock 13th, 14th Cameron Sewell, Alfie Davidson 15th, and Harrison Desoy bringing up the rear of the field, 16th place for him.
So the Mini GP 50s, Casey O'Gorman, the leading rider in the championship, the number 7 with 300 points at the moment, 107 ahead of Emmanuel Brinton with 193, and then 44 points behind Emmanuel is James Cook in 3rd place, and then 7 behind James is Josh Bannister in 4th. They're all in the top 4 positions in the qualifying ones as well. And as the rest of the riders getting into position ready for their race start, we've got a gap in 13th and 14th position. They may, in fact, the 40 is moving up, 48 Molly Walker moving up into the correct position, so we are missing just a couple from the race order.
Ryan Hitchcock and Cameron Sewell, if it's 13th and 14th on the grid, are not here.
14th and 15th. We'll get more information on that as we get underway into this race. 12 laps in prospect, and the Mini GP 50s are just moments away from their race start. Looking towards the lights, revs builds, the red lights are on, a lot of running from Josh Bannister, but Casey O'Gorman gets underway and into the race lead fairly quickly. Emmanuel Brinton not being able to fight off the advances into 2nd place, so drops down into 3rd as they come through turns 2 and 3 for the first time. But it is O'Gorman currently ahead of James Cook. Made a good start. Emmanuel Brinton not quite so, into 3rd place. Josh Bannister though just about holding on to 4th place, I believe.
Yeah, Josh Bannister in 4th place. Great start from Thomas Gomez. He got a great start along with most of the front runners. Indeed, Casey O'Gorman is your leader so far as he just flicks it from left to right at the back end of this circuit now. O'Gorman has got some company though. I've got to say, O'Gorman has not quite broken clear like we see him do so often as he comes to the line. Casey O'Gorman ahead of James Cook, Emmanuel Brinton, Josh Bannister and Thomas Gomez, the top 5.
Making their way over the line for the first time out of 12, as Kiko mentioned, Gorman followed by Cook. Cook starting to close in very quickly, only 0.3 of a second ahead of James Cook is Casey O'Gorman. That battle for first then really spread out. 3rd place, Emmanuel Brinton is having Josh Bannister follow him in 4th place at the moment. Battle for 1st, battle for 3rd, and battle also going on for 5th place at the moment, with Thomas Gomez and Dylan Mellor in 5th and 6th, followed very closely by Kyle Payne. Through the left, through the right-handed hairpins, very tight section, almost ending our lap, but Casey O'Gorman has got company. He has got James Cook on a mission to try and be the first person to take a win other than Casey in the AC, or the Mini GP 50 race season so far. It's only taken 5 race meetings, but so far Casey O'Gorman has got a real challenge now, going side by side. James Cook not quite being able to get the run through turn 5 into turn 6 though, and down the very long back straight. James just holding on, trying to make the position work so far. Battle for 3rd place though. Josh Bannister had a very cheeky look up the rider's left hand side going into the left hander before the hairpin, and that was a very tricky move to try and hold off James Cook in 2nd place, and Josh Bannister still in 4th.
James Cook giving chase to Casey O'Gorman. This could be really, as you say, Dan, the first rider to try and beat Casey O'Gorman in this class all season. It took 5 rounds. Shouldn't have really took this long, but never mind. Casey O'Gorman has been imperious this year really, but so far not quite breaking away. James Cook going with him. Fastest lap last time around went to Casey O'Gorman, 58.1 compared to a 58.19 for James Cook. There is absolutely nothing in it. They're up the far end of the circuit now. James Cook will be looking to try and set a move up round here. The fast right-hander that ends this lap, building into that last flick left onto the straight. No move this time around. Casey O'Gorman just about holding on from James Cook to the line. Let's see what the lap times are. Across the line they go. Casey O'Gorman did a 47.74. James Cook does a 47.75. Absolutely neck and neck, side by side. Ollie Walker and Eddie O'Shea down across the line for the first and into the first corner, sorry, and it is Eddie O'Shea, I think, who got that move just about done.
No, it's Ollie Walker.
Ollie Walker,
who's just managed to get ahead in 8th place. The scrap, Kyle Payne once again having a fantastic battle with Ollie Walker and Eddie O'Shea as they made their way over the line, and the split times were very, very close indeed, but Ollie Walker got a good run ahead of Eddie O'Shea, went very wide on Ryder's right hand side over the curb, just slowed him up just enough not to be able to get that traction out of the final corner. They've still got 8 laps to go, so plenty of time to continue it, but completing lap 5 now is Casey O'Gorman leading ahead of James Cook. The gap still 0.4, so has increased. It's very close for 3rd place though. Josh Bannister having a look up the left hand side into turn number 1, couldn't quite make it work though, and Emmanuel Brinton remains in 3rd place. Probably very happy aboard that bike so far. Josh Bannister really, after getting a great start, which is one of the first truly brilliant starts he's had all season, and hopefully Josh has managed to redeem himself with that start into 4th place, into 3rd place. Almost can't quite make it work.
Dylan Mellor riding right on the ragged edge in 6th place, almost clipped the back of Thomas Gomez. That's down at the hairpin. They've all come through there now. Casey Gorman is starting to break away from James Cook, although James Cook, we've seen so many times, he has good late race pace. Casey Gorman, on the other hand, not so. So if he stays where he is and gives himself half a chance, he's 3/4 of a second back, we may well see that gap close back up again.
But maybe it's a case that James Cook is following so closely at this halfway stage of the race that he just can't quite get the positioning, can't quite get the movement that he requires behind Casey O'Gorman. A bit of clean air can really help the tyres stop overheating, can really help your bike, especially in these conditions, cool down just a small amount. Nonetheless, O'Gorman, Cook 1st and 2nd, Brinton and Bannister 3rd and 4th. Someone we might mention in a while, unfairly one would suggest Thomas Gomez, the 98 in 5th place, having a good scrap with Dylan Mellor, the 98 versus the 31, making their way up through the right-hander and the left-hander, the final 2 corners of this lap, then closely being followed by Payne, Walker and O'Shea for 7th, 8th and 9th.
James Cook took the gap down last time from 0.76 to 0.64, so over a 1/10 of a second. James Cook was able to find over Casey O'Gorman last time around. This race is far from done yet. They're on the back straight now, moving, so big battle at the moment for 7th place. Kyle Payne ahead of Ollie Walker, then it's Eddie O'Shea, some great riding there in 7th, 8th and 9th, completing the top 10. Harrison Crosby on the green machine there, just slowly but surely losing touch with them as Casey O'Gorman is slowly but surely being reeled in by James Cook. We'll have to see what the lap times are this time around across the line. Casey O'Gorman, what does he do? Yeah, extends the gap there to a 2nd, so a 47.8 for O'Gorman, a 48.3 for James Cook. The gap has gone out to just over a 2nd for the first time. That may have been a decisive lap in this race.
And Emmanuel Brinton in 3rd place, still holding off the reign of Josh Bannister in 4th place. Desperately wants a podium, is getting oh so close to Emmanuel Brinton, running a bit deep on the exit of turn number 5. As you described earlier on in our broadcast, Kiko, you've got a few different lines for the right-handed hairpin at turn 5. You can go really quite tight, a bit slower, but ultimately you can get a great run out or really throw the bike in a load of speed, but you run deeper, more difficult to get the line up towards turn 6. Josh Bannister elected to use that line, didn't quite work out for him, although he's going to try and go side by side through the final couple of corners, going to get a decent, if not spectacular run on Emmanuel Brinton. They were briefly side by side, they still go side by side, and once again Josh Bannister has to back out of it. He's using such a tight line going into turn 1, but Emmanuel Brinton, even though he's only halfway round the road, has covered him off. That is just enough for 4th place and 3rd place so far. Casey O'Gorman though, 2.5 laps to go, the gap extending again to 1.2 seconds now ahead of James Cook. James Cook about 0.2 laps slower at this stage. Maybe it's that case if he's controlled him enough, he's just got enough pace to break the gap. This is for the lead of the race through the left-hander at the final corner over the line. 2 laps left to go. O'Gorman ahead of Cook, 1.2, the gap not really extending on that lap. It's still 3rd place, so in fact it finally has changed. Josh Bannister has managed to get past Emmanuel Brinton halfway around the lap. A good stop and a good way of getting through for Josh Bannister, just holding off Emmanuel Brinton in these very late stages of the race. So it is changing still for the podium. Emmanuel must be feeling frustrated at this late stage of the race, although still got a lap and a half to make it count, although dropping back a couple of bike lengths. That might spell the end of that battle for him.
I think we will see in about a lap's time. Brinton won't have given this one up yet, but Casey O'Gorman looks like he has broken well enough clear of James Cook now. Casey O'Gorman, to me, looks like he's got this one in the bag. Across the line to start the final lap. James Cook across the line, 1.9 seconds between them, so enough of a gap really unless Casey O'Gorman encounters any issues. Josh Bannister in third place, looking to pick up his 8th podium of the year in this class, the Mini GP50s. Sorry, his 4th podium of the year in this class, the 9 Emmanuel Brinton of his 8th podium in this class. So it is really all the way, loads of different dynamics. Casey O'Gorman though, just towards the back end of this circuit now, looks like he's got it in the bag.
Less than half a lap to go until Casey O'Gorman takes the victory. There has been a change finally for 5th place. Dylan Mellor, the 31 ahead of Thomas Gomez. Ollie Walker still ahead of Eddie O'Shea, and Carl Bain dropped down. But Casey O'Gorman through the final corner for the final time. We challenged him, we thought we might see a different victor in this race, not quite. James Cook though takes 2nd place in this one. A great result for him, a brilliant result for Josh Bannister. The number 2 comes home 3rd, so a good result for Josh Bannister. Really did very well ahead of Emmanuel Brinton. Dylan Mellor takes 5th ahead of Thomas Gomez and Ollie Walker, with Eddie O'Shea also getting very close in 8th place. Carl Payne in 9th place, a good result, was holding 7th for such a long time, couldn't hold on to it in the end. But Harrison Crosby in 10th, rounding out the top 10. Ryan Hitchcock is in 11th, ahead of Lucas Brown. Alfie Davidson is in 13th place, ahead of James Rose, with Harrison Desoy and Cameron Sewell 15th, and Cameron Sewell unfortunately not starting the race. But they gave it their all. Casey O'Gorman challenged at the early stages, saying, come on James, come on, let's have a race, come on, keep up mate, and it just goes, now I'm just going to ride off now. But a great result nonetheless for both of them, and James Cook really did hold his own for such a long time in that race. And Josh Bannister, podium, just what the doctor ordered.
Emmanuel Brinton won't be happy with his 4th place. It's good, valuable championship points, but he would have wanted a podium there. Another 11 points for 5th place. Dylan Mellor, Thomas Gomez, Ollie Walker, Eddie O'Shea, Carl Payne. Lots of good rides all the way through the field. And I can't wait for that class to resume tomorrow. Race 2 coming up at a scheduled 12 o'clock.
We'll be on air tomorrow morning on Facebook, on your whichever social media platforms you use, on the Cool Fab Racing website and on motorsport.radio from 20 past 10 tomorrow morning, ahead of the first race, the AC40 Pros, at 10:30. Got plenty of your comments. Thank you very much for commenting on our streams so far. Great to see how much you guys are enjoying it at home. And up next will be the Extreme 200. But first, a couple of your comments we'll have in just a few moments' time, as the Extreme 200s onto the grid and onto their warm-up lap for their first race of the weekend. And we'll get the order in just a few moments' time. Max Cook, who won the Pit Bike 140 and Moto Team race, will definitely be wanting to continue that form as they now head out onto the circuit. Get the grid for you in just a few moments' time. But you're listening to live coverage of round 4 of the round 5 even of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships, with the Extreme 200s onto the circuit and getting underway in just a few moments' time.
Some comments coming in. Everyone supporting, well, some people, Helen Cook supporting Max, obviously she's very, very happy with that, and Helen Cook also very happy about other results in that race as well, as we are about ready to go.
Max Cook starts on pole position ahead of Gareth Roberts, with Elliot Dufton and Will Howarth on row 2. Harvey Claridge and Alex Vella are your third row of the grid, ahead of Brandon Perrell and Josh Ingram. Then it will be Felix Hearn and James Blackburn, that's the top 10. Jamie King, Ian Jackson, Callum Beach, Reece Garland, Ben Pascoe and Sean Whittaker, rounding out the 16-strong order. Getting underway just a few moments' time. Last minute instructions from the marshals to make sure everyone's in the correct positions. So it can be quite easy just to pull up 1 or 2 rows too soon. Alex Vella getting into position now. Start line marshals doing their final checks. We do seem to be missing 14th and 15th, so no Rhys Garland and Ben Pascoe. As far as I can see, move Sean Whittaker up a row on the grid, looking towards the lights now. And the starter's instructions, the red light comes on, the revs are up. We get underway and Alex Vella gets a fantastic start, moves up into second place, almost into the lead before turn number 1. A great start, but moving into turns 2 and 3 for the first time. Everyone being caught just that little bit napping, but it was the number 441 of Elliot Dufton who makes his way into the lead of the race for the first time out of 14. A big squirm from Max Cook, who then drops down into second place. Chaos at the start, but a phenomenal start nonetheless from Alex Vella.
Max Cook down into third place. Looks to me like Gareth Roberts has come through there for a good start. Alex Vella, I've never seen someone launch a bike off a line quite like that. It was something pretty spectacular right through the order. He made no qualms about his statement there. He was flying through from 6th. I think he's only managed to get to 4th. He nearly hit the front though, as well as everyone else in his way. But through, down into turn 2, Elliot Dufton so far leading Max Cook and Gareth Roberts side by side, and Max Cook gets that move sorted out. So Max Cook now being released, and he can chase after Elliot Dufton. Max Cook second then, Gareth Roberts third, Alex Vella still 4th. Harvey Claridge is in 5th place. 6th place at the moment is Josh Ingram, then Brandon Perrell 7th, and 8th place James Blackburn. Jamie King and Felix Hearn complete the top 10, 1.5 laps into this race.
And Will Howarth in 11th place, fighting very hard for 10th place, made a late move up the inside, I believe with Felix Hearn going into the left-handed hairpin 2/3 around our lap. For Elliot Dufton, the gap was a second over the line the last time. Max Cook is now 0.444 behind with the fastest lap, almost a whole second quicker. So almost inevitable as Max Cook tries to go up the inside at turn number 3, straight over the curb on the right-hand side. He can't really do that to make the position, getting all squibbly coming out of turn number 5. Just waiting a little bit longer will reward you with the race lead, and Max Cook certainly giving it his all. Third place, Gareth Roberts broken away and is definitely going to be happy with the points haul at the moment. Got to be very patient, and the Extreme 200s is really a great demonstration of patience when you get the results, because those results will come good. Gareth Roberts in third is leading the championship with 148 points. But the battle for the race lead still going on very strong between Cook and Dufton. Cook going up the inside at turn number 2, making the move stick this time, still going straight over the curb at turn number 3. So hopefully, I believe there is a white line there, so should be marking the racing line. Maybe Max just not able to get it over properly.
Taking liberties with the curbs, but no such problems. He's in the lead. Max Cook leading this race now. Elliot Dufton into second place. Gareth Roberts third. And then there is a huge gap back to Alex Vella and Harvey Claridge battling over 4th to 5th. An even bigger gap back to 6th place Josh Ingram. And then Brandon Perrell in 7th place has just dropped off the back of that battle for 6th. Behind them, Jamie King, Will Howarth in 9th, James Blackburn in 10th. Battles all the way down this field here today on a sunny Saturday at Coolfab in Cambridgeshire. Max Cook fastest up of the race, 45.319. No surprise that time around. He is in a class of his own. Elliot Dufton now dropping into the jaws of Gareth Roberts as Roberts moves in to try and take the number 441. Alex Vella still with Harvey Claridge for company. We have got a proper race on. Jamie King under big pressure, through on the inside. That was James Blackburn. He went wide, and Blackburn under attack from Felix Hearn as they go through the hairpin down into turn 6 now along the back straight. They're going to go 3 wide. Felix Hearn gets past, does he, on James Blackburn? He's trying his hardest. They're so close. Yes, he does. They're still side by side through the left, now into the right. Felix Hearn just about pulls it off as James Blackburn almost clips him. Jamie King kept his nose clean through all of that and holds on to that crucial 8th place. But what a battle that was towards the back end of the circuit.
Giving it their all, and it's very, very difficult to try and stay side by side for such a length of time, especially through one left-hander, then a left-handed hairpin, then a right-handed hairpin, and then a right-hander itself. Very tricky stuff, and managing it with absolute race at the moment. We've had 5 laps completed, on to lap 6, 9 to go. Max Cook with the fastest lap, not on that last lap, but he's still got the fastest lap, 2.1 seconds ahead of Elliot Dufton. Gareth Roberts, championship leader, starting to close in now on Elliot Dufton, 0.3 of a second over the line as they head into turn 2 now. And Max Cook is still riding the curbs, he's still just driving straight over them like it's a mini roundabout. You don't really need to do that, you don't really want to do that. That could result in a penalty, we'll see later. But almost touching was Dufton and Roberts. Roberts got a great run out of turn 5 on Ryder's right hand side, but just closing the door, Elliot Dufton just enough to keep the position. Also enough to keep the position, Josh Ingram in 6th place, still holding off Brandon Peril through the left-hander at turn number 6 and onto the back straight. The yellow peril of Brandon Peril on his race leathers, giving it his all, and the 6 very happy in for Josh Ingram so far. Not holding on to it for too much longer, one might suspect, but Jamie King in all of this has started to break away as well from the battle for Felix, and they're all getting well and truly stuck in at this halfway stage of the race. 7 laps completed, 7 to go.
Gareth Roberts still chasing Elliot Dufton through the hairpin, long right-hander, hooks back now into the left-hander that puts them onto the back straight. Elliot Dufton just about with enough room to manage it comfortably at the moment. Gareth Roberts not quite putting himself in the position to make the move. Max Cook well clear of that battle. 4th and 5th battle still happening. Harvey Claridge looking to the inside of Alex Vella, up at turn 7, can't quite make it work as they are at the hairpin at turn 8. Flick it right now for turn 9. Slow and nadgery part of the circuit, not a lot you can do about it. Max Cook still in the 45s, he's much quicker than everyone else on circuit. 4.2 seconds is his lead. Elliot Dufton and Gareth Roberts are still neck and neck, 0.2 between them. They're at the hairpin in the middle of this course.
And Alex Vella as well for 4th place, battling tooth and nail with Harvey Claridge, the number 16, for 4th and 5th. Almost side by side through turns 5, having to flick their way over to the right hand hairpin, then the right handed corner before the left at turn number 6. Holding up really, Alex Vella struggling on the traction, gets a good run in terms of straight line speed, but the traction phase is really mastered by Harvey Claridge, and there are lots of traction zones on this circuit. He's just having to wait very patiently. It is a waiting game, it's cat and mouse around this Red Lodge circuit with such quick corners followed by such slow corners. Max Cook though, still 4.669 ahead of Elliot Dufton. Gareth Roberts only 0.2 shy to head up towards the line. They're still not quite able to get side by side despite Gareth's best attempt to try and go right using Ryder's right hand side. I think he's caught on that's Gareth's line and just covering it just enough to keep the position on so far, but Elliot holding on for his life at the moment through the left and the right. Also holding on is Josh Ingram in 6th and 7th still, with Brandon Peril having to fight for 6th place. Can't quite make it through though, but Gareth Roberts did make it through eventually. Finally the corks out of the bottle, they're side by side. Elliot Dufton on the inside at turn number 1, and he's still, oh my goodness me, they go side by side. Can't quite make it stick. He does make it stick in the end, is Gareth Roberts. It's a will they won't they, because they were side by side for so much of it. The 2-1-2 on the right and the 4-4-1 on the left. Finally through turn number 5 he makes the move stick. A third of a lap side by side and an audacious move around the outside, going, I'm having you here son, I don't care what you're doing, you're going to back out, this is mine now.
Gareth Roberts making a great move there at the last corner for 2nd place. Elliot Dufton didn't want to let him have it though, and they're at the back end of this circuit now. Last few corners to go as they start, well, as Max Cook starts the 3rd to last lap into the final corner. Gareth Roberts into the lead, into the lead of this battle at the moment. Elliot Dufton, though, you feel like he might just have something left for him here. I don't think Elliot Dufton is done by any stretch of the imagination at all. He looks much quicker in the corners, just not allowing himself much room to build into him. Roberts still leading at the hairpin. That battle there, 2nd and 3rd, Dufton in 3rd. Max Cook though is already at turn 7, round a long left-hander, still going on and on, long corner that is, then into a right-handed hairpin, squirt out there and down towards the final corner. Max Cook has rode a magnificent race, 6.5 second lead. It's all about the battle for 2nd though. Gareth Roberts and Elliot Dufton are still absolutely at it. Dufton so much quicker into the corners.
Elliot Dufton really got that straight line speed mastered. He's trying to get one way and then the other, but it just seems that Gareth Roberts' riding line allows a little bit of a look up the inside, just as an invitation. It's a bit like a mirage when you just sort of see half a move there, but you can't quite make it done. He's really good at just having that little bit in hand to keep it through. They're passing a few of the back markers in this race, and that's just given Gareth Roberts a little bit of breathing space. A lap and a half left to go for Max Cook. It's still all hell for leather between the 147 and the 146 for 6th as well. Josh Ingham still just ahead.
Harvey Claridge in 4th there ahead of Alex Vella, so good stuff there for Harvey Claridge moving through. Alex Vella, local rider from here, down now into 5th place, but the top 5 is still a solid result. Across the line comes Elliot Dufton and Gareth Roberts. They're starting their last lap. Gareth Roberts still holding on from Elliot Dufton at the moment. How much longer will there be? A last lap, last gasp attempt to try and take 2nd place as they come through. Elliot Dufton riding almost pillion with Roberts through the hairpin. Max Cook's already down towards the last part of this course. That's into turn 8 he goes, but it's all about that battle for 2nd place. Gareth Roberts holding on Elliot Dufton for now.
Max Cook will definitely debate that. He'll say, well, it's all about the race winner. And the number 30 heading towards the line is about to take another victory in the day 2 from 2. Max Cook wins. It's 2nd place, though, still between Gareth Roberts, who's got a bit of traffic ahead. He's had a poor run coming out of it, but the 2-1-2 just covers off Elliot Dufton over the line. He swerved to the left-hand side, much as we saw at Rower when there was a collision. But nonetheless did just cover him off, took 2nd place. It was only a 10th between Roberts and Dufton over the line, and that will undoubtedly not have any problems at Gareth Roberts' Championship Challenge at the moment, leading ahead of Elliot Pinson, who isn't in this race. Elliot Dufton got 3rd place, Harvey Claridge 4th ahead of Alex Vella, and on the last lap Brandon Perrell took the position ahead of Josh Ingham, so 146 is now in 6th ahead of Josh Ingham, the 147 in 7th place, and was very happy with that. Brandon shaking his head all over the line, really very elated with that position. Felix Hearn in 8th ahead of James Blackburn, with Jamie King rounding out the top 10. Reece Garland in 11th ahead of Callum Beach, with Sean Whittaker and Will Howarth 13th and 14th. Will unfortunately qualifying quite well, but unfortunately having a few struggles in that race, pulled off after 3 laps. Ian Jackson, Ben Pascoe were your non-starters, so 13 actually finished that race, 14 started it and 16 were entered. A great race for the Extreme 200s though. More of the same tomorrow. 2 sets of races tomorrow. Still more incredible action to come from Red Lodge, live on the Cool Fab Racing website, on social media and on motorsport.radio. You're listening to live coverage of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships.
We're now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing.
Mini F1 sidecars now onto circuit, with a slightly shortened circuit for their troubles. Don't use the infield portion of the track. Mick Williams definitely enjoyed that with a 36.4. That was his fastest lap in qualifying this morning. How did the rest of them line up? Kiko Giles.
Mick Williams on pole by a 1.5 seconds from Mick Lee. So Mick Williams and Mick Lee blocking out row 1. Mark Parker 3rd, Jack Quarters 4th. Adrian Ems and John Hosker, 5th and 6th. 7th for Simon Ibbotson and Scott Jewett, our new pairing there. Scott Jewett and his passenger are in 8th. Mick Williams, 12 wins this year, 12 fastest laps, 5 pole positions. Can anyone stop him? Well, I'd bet someone else's mortgage on it, but certainly not mine.
It's a good job you don't have one then, Kiko.
That's exactly what I mean. I'll bet yours, Dan. I'll bet yours.
Well, we'll discuss my financial capabilities later on, but the Mini F1 sidecars, certainly not a betting man's game, as Mick Williams looks towards the line to try and get a rocket ship start. A bit of creeping from the second row of the grid. Adrian Ems, a lightning start further down the order, but Mick Williams takes the lead going into the first few corners for the first time. They go left and right much quicker than normal, effectively going from turn 2 to turn 6 in about a second. Up to the final couple of corners already, and there's been a crash down at the left-hander before the left and right-handed hairpins. We can't see who for. The rider and passenger seem to be up and okay. So as we make our way down towards the final corner already, Mick Williams will take the lead over the line ahead of Mick Lee, with Adrian Ems in 3rd place ahead of Jack Walters. Jack Walters being chased down very quickly indeed by Mark Parker, who is down into 5th place, with Simon Ibbotson and then Jack Walters in 6th and 7th. Over the line, Scott Jewett in 8th.
Mick Williams and everyone at the second corner, I thought they were running on a bit, to be fair.
In fact, Jack Walters hasn't come through.
That may well be because he's parked his sidecar in the tyre barrier at the turn 3 on this course now. So Jack Walters, after that good second row start, has gone down, well, has put his sidecar in the second-hand position. Mick Williams, though, leading this race from Mick Lee and Adrian Ems. 1st, 2nd and 3rd, Williams, Lee and Ems. How many times have we seen that this year? John Hosker 4th, Mark Parker 5th, Simon Ibbotson in 6th place, Scott Jewett 7th, as we've already said. Mick Williams coming round to complete yet another lap. There's only 5 to go. He's making short work of this one.
Well, it's a very short lap now we've taken out the infield section. They can complete the laps in 36.1 seconds was Mick Williams' last one, and one might suspect that it's quicker over the line this time. Mick Williams does a 36 points. We'll find out more in just a few moments. Mick Lee still in 2nd and Adrian Ems in 3rd, a 36.8 for Mick Williams. The battle though for 3rd place starting to rage on. The 4th place getting even close with John Hosker and Mark Parker 4th and 5th.
Simon Ibbotson has got an issue. The issue is his rider has fallen off, his passenger's fallen off. So Simon Ibbotson then coming out of turn 9, that is, the fluorescent green and blue coloured sidecar, gets right in Mick Williams' way there, down at the final corner. I'm sure Mick Williams will take him off his Christmas card list later on this year. Williams across the line, 38.1 for him. Mick Lee set to 37.7. That's got to be the first time anyone set a faster race lap than Mick Williams, as as Simon Ibbotson goes grass tracking and his passenger's fallen off again.
Oh dear.
So what on earth is going on? Simon Ibbotson must have upset him or something, because they're certainly having a game of possum down there at the exit of turn 2.
In fact, they had this problem going through the final corner in qualifying earlier on this morning, so certainly they're going to be having some words over their glass of water later on this evening, probably along the lines of, will you stop going so darn fast, I can't hold on, which probably for the passenger isn't a particularly good thing. But with 2 laps left to go, Mick Williams and passenger, of course, certainly kept on that vehicle. The 26 on its way to another potential victory. And Mick Lee still 2nd ahead of Adrian Ems, with Mark Parker getting past John Hosker on the last lap, 2:30 versus 1:27. They've had some good scraps over the course of the season so far, and they've been pretty much tied for points in the last couple of meetings in terms of actual
Simon
points itself.
Ibbotson has retired. Simon Ibbotson has come in, then obviously given up hope with his passenger. Mick Williams, though, on his last lap, making it look so easy yet again. This race has flown by, I've got to say. It's less than 5 minutes so far. Mick Williams cruising to his 13th win of the season, looking on course for yet another perfect performance.
The 2:30 Mark Parker still in 4th place, still kept it ahead of John Hosker. So with only a handful of corners to go, it's the last corner for Mick Williams. 26 comes out of the final corner with a bit of a wheel spin and takes the checkered flag once again. So 13 wins on the bounce. Mick Lee, the 44, the bright yellow machine, comes home for 2nd place, and 3rd place will be Adrian Ems, the 76, through the final corner now. Mark Parker has gapped the number 127 of John Hosker, so Mark Parker in 4th and John Hosker in 5th, using a unfamiliar all-white livery with a yellow number on the front of it, which can be quite difficult to see when in direct sunlight, with John Hosker then in 5th ahead of Scott Jewett, Simon Ipperson at retirement, and Jack Quarters unfortunately not getting around more than half the first lap. Hopefully we do get to see Jack out in tomorrow's 2 races, because Jack certainly had some pace, qualified very well, and we'll wait to see and hear with more bated breath from the Mini F1 sidecars tomorrow. Still great action. Thank you very much for tuning in to our live radio feed and audio feed on the Cool Fab Racing website, on motorsport.radio, or your preferred social media platform. Plenty of great action still to come. Round 5 of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Minibike Championships, the official partner series to the BSB, and on the road to MotoGP. Great action still to come.
This is Cool Fab Racing. Live coverage all season on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page and on the website coolfabracing.com.
We've got some comments flooding in on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page. Everyone at home giving their support there. Shirley Bird sends us 2 smiling faces. Rose Nanny Cole says, congratulations Max, well done, first love Nanny. Alan Roberts says, nice one Gareth, hashtag 212. And Paul Peters just says a simple hi everyone. Hello Paul. We are way ahead of schedule. Evan Belford second on the grid, looking to try and topple Casey O'Gorman. It's not been done so far this year. Casey O'Gorman unbeatable, we'll see. Third, Owen Mellor. Fourth, Bailey Stewart Campbell. Callum Beach heads up row 3 in 5th place, whilst Rossi Banham is 6th. Finn Smart having a clever ride to 7th in qualifying, whilst Sean Abel was able for 8th. Saffron Watley 9th. Jack Kirsch rounds out the top 10. James Rose in 11th, Holly Harris is 12th, and Elliot Crosby, a sole member of the Row 7 club, in 13th. That's your lineup, with the last few riders just trundling round. We will wait and see how this one plans out. It's going to be brilliant. Bailey Stewart Campbell just coming around to take his place on the grid. 4th for him, second rider on row 2. It's all about Casey O'Gorman. Can anyone beat him?
Everyone is on the grid. The marshals moving away from the side of the circuit, and the final 13-lap encounter for this afternoon's racing. Bailey Stewart Campbell already creeping just slightly from the second row of the grid, As everyone revving up, ready to look towards the lights. They will head on in just a moment. They're on another creep from Bailey Stewart-Campbell, who had to drop back. Casey O'Gorman into the lead of the race, as there's a stall of the number 96. That is Jack Kirch, who couldn't get away, unfortunately. There was a few people struggling with the starts on these bikes. Maybe the clutch is a little warmer than anticipated in this heat, but so far Casey O'Gorman has got Owen Mellor in second place with an absolutely brilliant start. Evan Belford down to third. Bailey Stewart-Campbell, despite his struggles to get off the line, is up to fourth place so far. Through the left-hander and then the left and right-handed hairpins for the first time out of 13. It's unlucky for some, but so far Casey O'Gorman a good lead ahead of Owen Mellor. Already got Evan Belford and Bailey Stewart-Campbell fighting for third and fourth.
Already looks like it's going to be a battle for second place, as we see Owen Mellor's gone wide. Owen Mellor's gone wide. Evan Belford and Bailey Stewart-Campbell both streamed through. So Evan Belford there second, third for Bailey Stewart-Campbell, fourth now for Owen Mellor. Rossi Banham in fifth, sixth place Finn Smart, as they all stream through. Casey O'Gorman away, and there's a man on a mission.
Casey O'Gorman will definitely want to prove a point on a mini GP vehicle after being followed for quite a long period in the earlier race. Will definitely not want to repeat that again. Second place now then, as confirmed by Kiko. Evan Belford had a great move going into the first two corners of this lap. Bailey Stewart-Campbell up to third, Owen Mellor down to fourth. Rossi Banham is fifth, with Finn Smart holding off Callum Beach so far into turn number 2. They had some great scraps at Rowra, so did Rossi Banham get involved with this battle, but as they move into turns 4 and 5, while Finn Smart keeps ahead of that, Sean Abel just managing to hold off Saffron Motley in 9th place. Another good run from her so far. Saffron also had some brilliant scraps and runs at Rowra. Really matured heading into the 5th round of the 8-round championship in 2018.
Casey O'Gorman pulling away at the moment. The gap is 1.7 over Evan Belford. We will see what that is when they come across the line. Casey O'Gorman across the line now, as does Evan Belford. The gap is 2 seconds. So Casey O'Gorman pulling away.
And Finn Smart holding off Callum Beach very close as they went over the line and into turn number 1. They were side by side, but much like Gareth Roberts was earlier, with Elliot Dufton just having to hold back ever so slightly. Couldn't quite get the momentum, couldn't quite get the position. They hold on for now through turn number 6, the very long run towards the quick left-hander where Jack Walters went off in the previous race. No such dramas for anyone else so far in this race. And just an update on Jack Kirch. He's caught up to James Rose over the last 3 laps. For Casey O'Gorman, it was the last 4 laps. On to lap 4, a 45.579 means he's 2.640 seconds ahead of Evan Belford. That was his last lap, was his fastest lap for Casey. Meanwhile, Saffron Motley now ahead of Sean Abel coming over the line, so got that position on the last lap. No such luck for Callum Beach in 7th. Desperately wants 6th through turns 4 and 5. So far, the number 14 of Finn Smart in 6th, holding on very cleverly.
Jack Kirch in 13th place, is all over the back of Elliot Crosby. Jack Kirch stalled. He qualified 10th. He's giving Elliot Crosby a bit of hassle as they go into turn 6. This leads them onto the back straight, and no move made this time. Casey O'Gorman across the line, a 45.927 for him, a 46.184 for Evan Belford, 46.137 for Evan Belford, sorry. That's 2.8 seconds. So the gap he's gone out a little bit more, but nothing too dramatic, as the battle for 6th place carries on. Finn Smart keeping Callum Beach at bay. Great ride from Saffron Motley in 8th place. She really is riding well ahead of Sean Abel, who's a podium finisher this year. 10th place, Holly Harris, she's riding well as well. All of the riders all the way through the field having great races in their own respects. Jack Kirch has got Elliot Crosby.
And Jack Kirch is doing very well to progress ever since he stalled and lost a good 5 or 6 seconds at the very least coming over the line. Callum Beach in 7th still wants to take 6th place away. He's trying every which way through the right-hander. Finn Smart moves to the left-hand side of the circuit to block off the left-hand line at the left-hand of the final corner with 8 laps left to go. for them. They've got plenty of time to make a move, but he's so impatient is Callum Beach. The 127 really got the bit between his teeth. That's what's really frustrating, is you dart right, you dart left, you can start to get a run on someone, but you just can't get it done.
Owen Mellor was lapping quicker that time around than Bailey Stewart Campbell but of Evan Belford. So Owen Mellor, besides Case O'Gorman, the fastest rider on track last time around. Saffron Watley lapped quicker than Callum Beach as well by 0.4 of a second. In fact, she lapped quicker than Finn Smart and Callum Beach. So everything further down just starting to close up.
And side by side once again for Smart and Beach. They got very close coming through the final couple of corners. Looks over his left shoulder, does Finn Smart. That might just be enough to let Callum Beach through. They're almost gonna touch as they went through turn number 1. Backed out of it, but only just. Saffron Watley, the 178, now in 8th place. As you've been mentioning, Kiko, her progression has been outstanding, not only overall, but in this race, having half a look at the inside of Callum Beach. He is not going to like that, as it's now a 3-way scrap for 6th place. Still 6 laps left to go. 6 laps left to go now that Casey O'Gorman has crossed the line once again. The gap only extending to Evan Belford in 2nd place. Bailey Stewart Campbell and Owen Mellor 3rd and 4th. Quite happy. Rossi Banham in 5th. Very, very lonely. There's a lot of gap, but there's not a lot of gap for 6th place. Finn Smart still having to hold off not 1 but 2 riders now. Moves to the left-hand side of the circuit for the first time in a long time. That is really demonstrating how difficult his job is. The 14, the 127 and the 178 is 5th, is 6th, 7th and 8th through turn number 4 and 5. Left and then right, weaving one way and then the other. Saffron Watley going to get a decent run, but not quite on Callum Beach, able to get through turns 5 and 6. And Saffron Watley must be also quite frustrated at her pace, because she's stuck between the 2 people that are fighting. Almost a late lunge up the inside for Callum Beach as well, who's just got to fight one way and then the other. Saffron Watley forces a move up the right hand hairpin and is now up into 7th place. 1 down, 1 to go. Finn Smart starting to be closed in by Saffron Watley, quite deep on the exit of the left hand of the final corner. This is going to go down to the wire, and Saffron Watley desperately wants 6th position. A great run from her.
Saffron Watley's using her advantage over Finn Smart and Callum Beach to her advantage here. She's right on Finn Smart's case. Finn Smart almost hits the tyres there on the inside of the wall. Shaky burn style from Mallory Park 2008, remember that. As they go down the straight, Finn Smart needs to defend here from Saffron Watley. Just about does so as they go into the long left hand at the end of that straight. Saffron Watley having a look, not able to do so just there. We are coming to the last closing stage of this race. What a battle we've got on here. The lap times as well. Owen Mellor doing a lot quicker times than Evan Belford, so 2nd, 3rd and 4th are closing up too.
It is starting to all cascade together. 3.5 laps left to go. Casey O'Gorman, the number 7, having a great run in the lead at the moment. Evan Belford and Bailey Stewart Campbell still happy in 2nd and 3rd. Owen Mellor and Rossi Banham, your 4th and 5th place riders, but Finn Smart somehow, just somehow, has still got Saffron Watley in his tail. Going to look towards the inside of the left-hander before the left-handed hairpin towards the final 3rd of this lap. And now Callum Beach is also wide to Saffron's attacks, so she's in that position. She's got to defend and attack, but she's very much focused on the attacking elements of this race now. So much better on the brakes, just leaves it later, can roll in quicker into the left-hander with 3 laps left to go now. Not a long time in this race left to go, and so far Finn Smart has had it pretty much his own way for 6th place. Saffron Watley piling on more and more pressure as they head to the infield section. 4 and 5, turns 4 and 5, left and then right, and now Sean Abel is catching up. The 330 is catching up to this battle, a 4-bike battle for 6th place at this late stage of the race. 2 laps left to go, 3.5 in their case, or 2.5 in their case rather. And it was all changing in this very late stage of the race, the first race of the Mini GP 70s of the weekend.
Front 5 all decided. It's the battle for 6th, 7th, 8th, and I dare say 9th. Sean Abel is coming into this race as well. So Finn Smart, Saffron Watley, Callum Beach trying to go around the outside.
He has gone around the
turn
outside.
1 and makes it work as well. Saffron Watley doesn't want to let him have it and pushes him through at turn 2. So Saffron Watley and Callum Beach battling may have just given Finn Smart the break that he needs, although Saffron Watley straight back on him. Callum Beach looking to turn tight, and Sean Abel's in this race now as well. So Abel, who wasn't quite there a couple of laps ago, is there now, and Finn Smart has got to defend from 3 of them on this last lap.
Can you believe this is only the battle for 6th? Our race leader already onto his last lap. Casey O'Gorman through turn 5, the infield section, and back onto the long back straight before the left-handers. Up towards the final corner though, it's side by side between Callum Beach and Saffron Watley for 7th place. 6th place, Finn Smart. This is his lap. This is going to be his lap to determine whether he gets a position. Callum Beach tries to go around the outside, is going to go around the outside at turn number 2, the right hand side, although Saffron Watley does manage to keep 7th place just for now. Finn Smart has got a bit of breathing room. Casey O'Gorman has got the win over the line already. The battle for 6th place still raging on brilliantly. Evan Belford in 2nd, 3rd for Bailey Stewart Campbell, and 4th for Owen Mellor. 5th place is going to be Rossi Bannon, but it's Finn Smart in 6th place, only just. It's going to be a run towards the line. 1/3 of this lap left to go between Smart and Watley. Watley going to try and run side by side. Finn Smart's got a bit of a struggle. Can he keep it? Callum Beach is going to try the inside line. Saffron Watley's going to try and pull it. She's going to go side by side. She's got 6th place, just over the line, not quite. It was officially, we're looking at the timing now, Rossi Banham came home in 5th. Finn Smart, by 34 thousandths of a second, has taken Saffron Watley in what was a phenomenal ride from Saffron. Finn Smart soaked up so much pressure in that. That was absolutely brilliant by him. And Saffron Watley in 7th place. It feels a shame that she couldn't get 6th. She got such a good run on Ryder's left-hand side out to the final corner, but it wasn't to be in this race. Can you believe 2 more races for them this time tomorrow? And in 8th place, and we've got to give hats off to Callum Beach, who fought so hard for 8th place as well, is Callum Beach. Sean Abel 9th ahead of Holly Harris, with Jack Kirch returning into the just outside the top 10 in 11th place, with James Rose in 12th and Elliot Crosby in 13th. A utterly brilliant ride from them in the final race then from Saffron Watley in that session. There's been a brilliant set of races just this afternoon, but there is more to come tomorrow. 2 sets of races in prospects ahead of our next session, which will be tomorrow. Can you believe? We're all going to have a bit of a big glass of water, a bit of a relax after that one, because that was just absolutely brilliant racing, Kiko.
That was a great last lap to end proceedings here Saturday. It's been a great Saturday. Can't believe we've only got 1 day left of what has been a brilliant weekend here in Cambridge. A bit windy if you can't tell, if you're tuning in visually. My hair's not normally this bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not normally this tragic. But no, a great day's racing, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. We've had a relatively safe day as well. Hopefully everyone who's had a little accident will be back up and ready to go in a couple of weeks' time for GYG North Wales, of course. But all the attention now turns to tomorrow on Sunday. Lots of races. I think we've got 18 races to try and work our way through, plus warm-ups, plus a preview for the next round and review of this round. It's going to be busy for us, Dan, but no, great racing here in Cambridge. It's been great weather, and it makes all the difference.
Makes all the difference. Thank you very much for all of your comments and your feedback on today's broadcast. More of the same tomorrow in our visual radio coverage of the 2018 Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bike Championships. A big thank you also to all of the marshals and the medics and the organisers for working through some of the hottest conditions we'll have in a very long time this weekend, hot and windy, so a bit of a reprieve for us. We've been stood in this very nice cool area, I think one of the few ones around this day and tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining us though. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be on air from 10:20 for more of the fantastic action, so we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening, and until next time, we'll see you later.
We're now the official partner series to the BSB. This is Cool Fab Racing.